Good evening, all, and it's been a weird day. Normally, of course, by now we've got 3 or 4 different videos going and everything, and I uploaded the preview with the news of the day this morning, and I went, that's good. So I've been working on boards for the previews for the playoffs, for the first round of the playoffs. Now that the play-ins are done, we know 3 matchups that we'll see. I'm just waiting on getting all the stats on the board, and then I'll start doing the previews tomorrow. So that's the plan. There are 3 games on tomorrow. There's one at 9 a.m., one at 12 p.m. These are my time, and one at 5 p.m. So in between periods, I'll be able to do some previews because we have round robin games to start things off. So the really important game is later. And today was it was a much slower overall day. We get 2 games. The scoring's fine. I mean, you look at it and you think, well, those are, you get 7 goals in this one and 5 in this one. That's not bad. 6 goals on average. But the intensity's just not there. That desperation when a team is behind and they really need that goal and they really fight hard for it. And it's not quite the same. Although Colorado did do their best later in this game, it is not the same as the play-ins. We look at that absolutely amazing finish to the Toronto-Columbus game last night. There was nothing that was going to happen today that was going to touch that. Nothing. The worst case scenario if you're in the West is, we got to face Arizona. The worst case scenario in the East was, now we got to face the winner of Toronto and Columbus, team that's going to come out of a 5-game series all beat up without one of their best defensemen. So, the intensity isn't quite the same because they don't have to worry about going home yet. So Vegas and Colorado, as today we saw once again that home ice advantage isn't an advantage in these. It's not. I understand last change, and I've seen the arguments that last change makes a big difference in some situations, and I would counter with off the face-off, sure, I can see that, but in a lot of other cases, not so much. So it was Leonard versus Grubauer. Still no Pacioretty for Vegas. And what's interesting is, with Leonard playing 2 out of 3 games, I think Leonard's going to get the lion's share of games during the playoffs. Now, they've said they'll use both. I'm aware they've said they'll use both. But I'm thinking if it's not a back-to-back, they'll probably just keep using Leonard. That's my thought anyways. I mean, Leonard looked good, and Fleury had challenges in the game that he played. Tight checking first 5 minutes in this one. McNabb then takes a penalty. The Avs go to a power play. Pressure, not a lot of good looks for the Avs, couple. And, Vegas was playing pretty well there. Lots of praise for Stone from the announcers, which I get it. I get it. I'm not going to say anything bad about Stone. It's just, I remember when he played in Ottawa, and we all thought he was really good. And it's like announcers didn't realize how good he was until he became a Golden Knight. And so on that level, it's kind of like, it's a little bit frustrating to those of us who watched him in Ottawa and thought he was really good. And now that he's in Vegas, now he's apparently the best. And it's like, he was really good before that. And again, I'm not arguing against it. I just think that's a strange change that I've noticed since he went to Vegas. The shots were 4-3 for the Avs at the 11-minute mark. Not a lot of offense to begin with. Donskoy takes a penalty. Vegas goes to the power play. Pretty good penalty kill for the Avalanche. And Nieto stood out on that penalty kill. The Avs doing a good job. McNabb then takes his second penalty of the first period. Avs late power play. Roy takes a penalty with a lot of time left in the other penalty, so it's 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 28 seconds. And that was basically one of the best chances that Vegas had. Leonard robbed Rantanen, so we go into the second period with that being the highlight reel save for Leonard, in my eyes anyways. Second period, McKinnon had some words for the referee. The referee didn't particularly like, so I put on the board McKinnon beaks off, and Vegas gets a power play out of it. And then during that power play, they scored on it. So Marchessault scores from Theodore and Carlson at 1:34. Nice tip in front by Marchessault. No chance for Grubauer on that one. Stone, shortly after that, he stole the puck on a play, and it looked like he was going to make it 2-0, but he was stopped. Reeves then takes a penalty. The Avs go to the power play. During that power play, the Avs would hit the post, and then McKinnon puts it in from Kadri and Rantanen at 6:46. So they exchanged power plays and power play goals on that one. And so for Colorado, it was kind of a tit-for-tat situation, and you could tell they were the better of the teams in the West so far. Marchessault takes a penalty. Avs go to the power play. They don't score on that. After that's done, Nick Roy gets a goal from Karlsson and Reeves at 12:55. And then the fourth line is left on the ice after the goal, and they get another chance out of it. So whoever has to deal with that fourth line with Vegas, and I know it's Chicago, but whoever has to deal with that fourth line, they're going to have their hands full. They really are. Fourth line had a chance for another, and that Raw goal is like the fourth chance in a crazy scrum in front of the net. Donskoy would then score to tie it again from Comfort at 14:51. So the nice thing was that Colorado did show some fight back when they were behind. Nieto takes a penalty. Vegas goes back to the power play because this was a game that had a lot of power plays. This one did not. This one did. Third period, Schmidt takes an early penalty. Avs go to the power play. Graves then tripped Marchessault, which led to a penalty shot. There wasn't really much argument about that. And Graves would regret it as Marchessault gets the penalty shot goal at 3 minutes and 2 seconds of the third period to put Vegas ahead. We then get a scrum. Reeves, Nosek's involved, Calvert's involved. It turns into a 4-on-4 as things get kind of testy, as these guys are probably saying, look, if we meet again down the road, it might get ugly. McKinnon takes a penalty. It's a 9-second 4-on-3, and then it'll be 5-on-4. Pretty good penalty kill again by the Avs, but they're down by 1. They pulled the goalie with 2 minutes left. They would get the goal. Just trickles across the line. It's Comfer from Kadri and Rantanen at 18:58. Skill points don't matter. All the goals count for the same total. So it's 3-3, and we go to overtime. Vegas had an early 2-on-1 in the overtime. Missed wide. Johnson had a chance that was tipped aside at the other end. And then at 4:44, so just when I'm thinking we might go to a shootout, it is Tuck scoring from Stone. And the Vegas Golden Knights are the number 1 seed. They will face the Chicago Blackhawks. Colorado, the number 2 seed, they will face the Arizona Coyotes. Those should be very, very interesting series. Honestly, you couldn't go wrong with these series. If you had Colorado and Chicago and Vegas and Arizona, that'd be interesting too. But just the fact that Chicago and Arizona weren't expected to be here, that makes it so much more fun. On some level. And I know if you're a fan of the Preds or the Oilers, you're not feeling the fun. Based on the comment section from last night, there's a lot of people like, that's it, I'm out of here, I'm not watching hockey anymore. That may very well be the case, but I think you're going to miss some really amazing action over the next 2 months as we get to crowning a Stanley Cup champion. Keep in mind, the date that they have set for crowning a Stanley Cup champion is 2 months. 2 months. And they got to get through 4 rounds. This is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be a war of attrition on a level we've never seen. I'll say since the 80s, because back in the 80s I remember it being like that without all the extra days off. And it gets pretty physical. Shots in this game favored Colorado, 10-5 in the first, 15-9 in the second. They were 9 apiece in the third, and then in the overtime where Vegas realized, hey, we could win this and get first place, they outshot Colorado 3-1. Final shots, 35-26 for Colorado. The hits were 27-18 for Vegas. Power plays, Vegas went up 1 for 4, Colorado went 1 for 6. Your 3 stars, Marchessault, Stone, and Comfort. Comfort had the tying goal, so he gets in there as the 3rd star. And the other game of the day, well, it was Philadelphia against Tampa. Notice Philadelphia and Vegas were the road teams. And they came out of this one. Now, Voracek was out, JVR was in, Farabee's on the first line. It's Hart versus Vasi, and of course, no Stamkos. There's still no Stamkos for Tampa, and the storyline gets worse for Tampa early in this game. Hart looked sharp early. Kucherov hit the post. The shots were 2-2 at 5 minutes. Felt like there was a feeling out process going on there, and both teams were kind of tentative out of the gate, but that doesn't last very long, even in the round-robin games. Niskanen had a giveaway that led to a breakaway for Kucherov that was denied. And there was something Mike Milbury said later on, which kind of stuck with me, and I'm going to throw this into this part of the review, where I thought Point and Kucherov had plenty of chances and Hart was pretty good. And Milbury said, well, Point hasn't had a very good game. Kucherov hasn't had a great game either. So are we as fans, and again, I'm not trying to throw any shade or anything, but when a goaltender shuts the other team down, does that necessarily mean that the players on the other team didn't play well? Do you say, well, They didn't get the goal, so it doesn't matter if they played well. Conversely, could you have a guy who gets 2 goals and you go, well, those were fluky. He didn't really have a good game. So that was something that stuck with me here and that, and I thought I'd throw it into the review. Because why not? It's something fun to discuss, right? Obe Kubel would score from Gostisbehere and Grant at 7:40. Good news, Philadelphia. This is the best Ghost has looked this season, and he looks like he's ready. And that could be a huge difference maker for the Philadelphia Flyers if he really, truly is back to form. And if Vigneault has faith in him. That's the thing. If Vigneault believes in him, puts him in key situations. I remember when Vigneault was in Vancouver, and if you got in his doghouse, it was hard to get out. Pitlick almost made it 2-0, and on that play, he almost made it 2-0 because Hedman went down awkwardly, and it looked like it was his ankle or his foot that he twisted, and so Hedman might be out. The shots were 11-3. Philadelphia had all the momentum, and that was after Hedman exited, and he looked pretty animated when he left the bench. Like he looked choked, which tells me this is not just precautionary. This is not just, well, he'll be out. He'll be fine though. He'll be back for the playoffs. This is bad. This is also where the announcing, I went, huh? At the start of the game, they talked up how Tampa's a much different team than the one that got swept last year, and they're not going to get swept again this year. They could see them winning the Stanley Cup. As soon as Hedman got hurt, they went, well, not going to win the Cup now. Not without Hedman. Now they're done. And I thought, well, wait a minute now. Back up. And I started thinking about, there has to be teams that have won Stanley Cups while they've had a major player injured. Whether it's the full playoffs or partial playoffs. And there's part of me thinking, I should go back and look at Stanley Cup championship rosters and find players that were injured. Because, again, Hedman being out is huge. Not going to lie, that's absolutely huge if Hedman misses the playoffs for Tampa. But the idea that, well, that's it, they might as well just throw in the towel. I don't think you go that far. Good thing it's not the coach, right? Can you imagine the coach by the mess? Well, he's gone. We're screwed now. You guys are bums. We're not going to make it now. Look at me, Bogosian. You're not Hedman. Made him cry, coach. Well, he should know better. Coleman had a chance that was denied after Obe Kubel made it 2-0 from Couturier and Farabee at 14 minutes. I thought Joel Farabee had a great game. So lost in amongst all this, I thought Farabee had a great game. Killorn then had a shorthanded breakaway that was stopped, and it's 2-0 Philadelphia after 1. So all the commentary in between the first and second period was just basically, well, Hedman's out. So let's just go ahead and take that headstone and put it on Tampa Bay's 2020 season, and that's it. Tampa Bay is just, they're done. Well, they didn't tell Tampa this. So although Tampa informed the announce crew that Hedman was gone for the game, which we knew. We knew when he left he was going to be gone for the game. Sanheim then exited in the first minute, and a tough game for defensemen, eh? Sanheim went out. He would come back, but Sanheim went out, and that had to be kind of one of those no moments for Philly, because Gostisbehere's having a good game, and now Sanheim's going to get hurt? Great. This is how it works. Provorov takes a penalty. The Bolts go to the power play. Without Stamkos and Hedman, it is noticeable. The Bolts power play not clicking the way you would think it would if they had Hedman and Stamkos, which sounds like is probably an understatement or just stating the obvious, or probably a little bit of both. Obe Kubel takes a penalty. The Bolts go back to the power play. They score on that one. This time it's Tyler Johnson with a power play goal from Killorn and point. And Johnson, again, if you need a big goal, Tyler Johnson's there. Vasi then stopped the pressuring Flyers at around the 9-minute mark. Sanheim would return to the ice soon after that. So again, if you're a Flyers fan, you had a moment there, you're like, oh, okay, all right, Sanheim's back, we're fine. Last minute, no, we're not there yet. The low shot totals were favoring Tampa at 6-4 at the 14-minute mark. But then, even though Tampa was pushing back, Farabee gets a goal from Gostisbehere and Couturier at 14:22. Great pass by Gostisbehere on that one. And Farabee puts it home. Bogosian then takes a penalty. Power play for the Flyers. Last minute, Obe Kubel just misses his hat trick. Pretty darn close. And Obe Kubel had chances in the third at the hat trick, just couldn't quite get it there. So, third period, the Flyers, this is their third straight solid game. They were number 1 in the power rankings going into the break. Number 2 was Colorado. Number 3 was Vegas. And I didn't see anything today to tell me that they necessarily have really skipped a beat with the time off. Philly looks fantastic. Hart snagged a Sorelli shot. See, now there's people watching this going, he just jinxed them. They're going to lose to Montreal. This is how it's going to work. Provorov then took his second penalty. That was a trip. The Bolts go to the power play. Hart would stop point, and Kucherov had a chance that went wide. This is right about where Milbury's talking about how Point and Kucherov haven't played very well. I'm like, I keep writing their names on the board, so that they're doing something out there. The Flyers were working to kill it off, defended the lead, I thought, really, really well in that third period. The shots will tell you Tampa got shots on net. Not very many of them were very dangerous. Lots of blocked shots by the Flyers as well. Palat had a chance on a freak puck off the glass, but he missed it. If that had gone in, who knows what might have happened. Hart then denied point. They pull the goalie with 2 minutes left, and with the empty net, Lawton hit the post, which Columbus fans probably went, see, that's what happens. You got to make sure you hit that empty net. Somewhere Patrick Stefan's watching these play-ins and the round robin and saying, it's not just me. It's not just me. That highlight's been everywhere for too long. It's not just me. Load him up. Pitlick would hit the empty net right after, though. So Lawton gets the assist at 18 minutes and 40 seconds. And Coleman then took a cross-checking penalty with 20 seconds left. They showed the replay of it. That's the weakest penalty call I've ever seen. I'm like, that's a cross-check? Like, we have talked about cross-checks and what they're letting go. And what Coleman did, I don't even know if I'd qualify that as a cross-check. To me, that's your two-hander right across, like, and it wasn't. I mean, he kind of pushed, but not really, like, compared to the ones they let go. And with 20 seconds left, you're calling that. But anyways, that would be the second power play for Philadelphia with 20 seconds left. They outshot Tampa Bay 20-6 in the first when they did their damage. Tampa outshoots them the rest of the way, 7-6 in the second, 11-4 in the third. Final shots, 30-24 in favor of Philadelphia on the strength of that really strong first. Hits were 49-26 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-2, Tampa Bay 1-3. 23 blocked shots by the Flyers today. 23. Obe, Kubel, Gostisbehere, and Couturier are your three stars in this game. No argument against any of them. And Philadelphia now goes into a meeting with Montreal, Vegas with Chicago, Colorado with Arizona. Tampa Bay is awaiting the winner of tomorrow night's game between Toronto and Columbus. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.